Our next speaker is somebody that I am very honored to introduce, Ryan Frazier, who's running for Senate. He is, right now I think Ken Buck has also put his name in the hat. But this is a rare evening because we have a politician who's running for office that's not going to campaign. But here's what I do know about Ryan Frazier. He electrifies a room when he speaks. So please warmly welcome him.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know about electrifying. It's good to be here. How you doing today? I was coming in here, I heard this great story about the Glenmore Country Club. Maybe you all can tell me if it's true. We got any Democrats in the room? Just checking. It's okay if you're a Democrat. You can come on over. You got some Libertarians in the room, I know that. That's for sure. I know we got some Republicans, obviously, with this being our block party. Thanks for having me out today. To the folks who helped set this up and the ladies who have been working their tails off to bring this organization to the point it's at today. I think we owe you all continued So I heard this great story about the Glenmore Country Club, and I'm wondering if you all can tell me if it's true. It was right over here, I think, in the next room. They were having breakfast, and the Republican, Libertarian, and Democrat having breakfast. And I don't know how, but an impoverished man somehow got through that gate and made his way to the country club here. And when he walked in, the Republican said to the waiter, "Hey, get that man something to eat. Put it on my tab." The Libertarian said, "Well, give him something to drink. Iced tea. Put it on my tab." The Democrat, not to be outdone, said, "Well, give him some pecan pie. Put it on my tab." And after the gentleman finished eating, he went up to the Republican and said, "I was hungry. You gave me something to eat. Thank you. I see that you have a bad foot." He touched his foot and healed his foot. He went over to the Libertarian and said, "I was thirsty. You gave me something to drink. Thank you. I see that you have a bad arm." He touched his arm and healed his arm. And he went over to the Democrat. And the Democrat shuffled away. And he said, "Don't touch me. I'm on 100% disability." For those who don't know, this is also called a micro teleprompter. The president hasn't gotten this yet. Talk about technology. It's good to be out here with you today, and thank you for an opportunity to come out and just talk with you a little bit about the Republican Party, our future, and how we win. You know, I appreciate the presentation that was given earlier that talked about some of the things the Democrats are doing, that they've done, the progressive movement, quote unquote, has done in this state in order to move their agenda forward. You know, they've been very organized. They have a intricate network in which they are operating here in Colorado and are looking to expand that model around the country. I know I was one of the beneficiaries of their work multiple times. I ran for the Aurora City Council re-election. I represent 312,000 folks out in Aurora as an at-large member. And I know that for a fact the progressive majority folks were targeting my race. And they identified candidates, sought to fund those candidates, and tried to win seats on the Aurora City Council. The Aurora is the third largest city in the state of Colorado, second in the metro area. The Democrats have a plan to come after our cities, our school boards, and at the lower levels in order to truly take over and move their agenda forward from the bottom up. And my race was but an example of where they sought to implement their agenda. Fortunately enough, we were able to win. They didn't beat us. You know, and the following year, I co-authored the Colorado Right to Work Amendment, which was Amendment 47. You know, now if you all remember that, that was the one where you saw the firefighters telling you it was bad for firefighters and for babies, and somehow that they weren't going to be able to fight fires. If Amendment 47 passed, right to work, which was simply giving every worker the right to decide for themselves whether or not they want to be part of a labor union. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It advanced liberty, and that's why I supported it. It was also a very pro-business policy, which we need in this state, particularly in a state right now that is suffering from a down economy. We know for a fact right-to-work states perform better economically. Texas, all the states around this area, actually, with the exception of Colorado and New Mexico, are right-to-work states. That said, this was another example when we brought forth right-to-work where the progressive movement, closely tied to the labor unions, national and state, looked at Colorado and said, no way, Jose. They had two things on top of their agenda. And there was a Wall Street Journal article where they said this. They said, one, we want to pass EFCA, the Employee Free Choice Act, which is really misnamed, and we want to repeal the right-to-work states, the other 22 right-to-work states. So no way in hell they were going to allow Colorado to become the 23rd. And so they put a ton of money from around the country into Colorado to fight the right to work. As a matter of fact, they put $26 million of labor union money in this state. Their members didn't have a choice. The labor union leaders decided that they were going to fight right to work. They were going to fight a worker's freedom to decide for themselves whether or not they want to be part of a labor union in this state. But that's the type of network, that's the type of agenda, that's the type of organization we're talking about. And so, as you heard in the presentation previously, we are up against a mighty giant. Mighty giant. It does feel like we're David. It really does. But, as was said before, we surround it. We surround it. We're at a crossroads in this country. And we're going to have to choose which direction we want to go. And it's going to be upon us. It's going to be on us to decide which direction this country moves in. Is it a more freer, prosperous society, or is it a society in which embraces the government over the people, squeezing the people on top of the people? I choose the former. But we have to come together. And at this crossroads, we can either choose to come together or continue to divide ourselves. The one thing that the Democracy Alliance has learned is that you have to come together in order to win. Build coalitions. See, what they've done is they've been able to say, look, there are issues amongst our different constituencies in which we differ. We've got to put those aside because our overall agenda is one in which we can unite. And that's what we have to do as Republicans, as libertarians, as those who believe in a freer, more liberty-focused society. So we have to come together and look at our differences and say that we may differ here or there, but ultimately we agree. Reagan's 80-20 rule. We agree 80% of the time, you're my friend. I think that's absolutely critical in order for us to move this country in a better direction. If you look at the registration numbers right now here in Colorado, and I think this was talked about earlier, very, very concerning. Since 2004, what has happened in the state of Colorado, just to try to give a visual graph, in registration numbers in Republicans, we've seen a continuous decline. At one point, we had over 100,000, 170,000 more Republicans than there was Democrats in 2004. That number is down to 7,000 today. 7,000 since 2004 to 2008. And what happened is you saw Democrats gradually increase, and obviously they spiked, if you will, in 2008 with the election of Barack Obama to the presidency. And what we also saw is that the unaffiliated vote is continuing to gradually increase in the state. So where we're at now, it's pretty much a third, and a third, with the Republicans having a slight 7,000 person advantage on Democrats. From 170,000, give or take a few 10,000 there, to 7,000, from 04 to 08. So here's the bottom line. Republicans alone can no longer win in Colorado. In order to win, it has to be Republicans, the base Republicans plus half unaffiliated equals victory. In other words, if we want to win, we have to turn out our base and get at least half of the unaffiliated vote in this state. Otherwise, we lose. Period. So, what do? What needs to be done? Well, I certainly have my opinions. I'm sure you have yours. I'm going to share just a few of mine, and certainly we'll take some Q&A, and we can talk a little bit about what your thoughts are, and I'll give you my take on those as well.